चैनल द सोलफुल डायरी। आज के वीडियो में हम बात करेंगे मुल्क राज आनंद के वर्क द विलेज के बारे में। इससे पहले के वीडियोस में हमने अनटचेबल और कुली डिस्कस किया है, जिसका लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज के वीडियो। The Village is a novel by Indian author Mulk Raj Anand, first published in 1939. It narrates the coming-of-age story of Lalu Singh, the sensitive youngest son of an impoverished Sikh family in the remote Punjab village of Nandpur, set in the years immediately preceding World War One. As Lalu rebels against the rigid customs, superstitions, and economic hardships of village life, including refusing an arranged marriage, defying caste expectations, and confronting local moneylenders. He ultimately flees home to enlist in a Sikh regiment of the British Indian Army as World War One approaches, leaving behind his village amid feelings of uncertainty and homesickness. The book serves as the opening volume of a trilogy, followed by Across the Black Waters and The Sword and the Sickle, tracing Lalu's transformation from rural peasant to disillusioned revolutionary, while sympathetically portraying the dignity and poverty of India's agrarian underclass. Anand's narrative employs a realistic, picaresque style to eliminate universal tensions between individuals' aspiration and communal tradition, critiquing social inequalities that transcend caste and religion through shared economic oppression. Themes of education's liberating potential, the clash between indigenous rituals and emerging modernity, and the quiet resilience of peasant existence underpin the work, which avoids sensationalism in favor of measured observation drawn from Anand's own observation of rural Punjab. Praised for its truthful character, depictions, and cultural insight, the village remains notable for fostering empathy towards pre independence Indian peasantry without overt didactism, reflecting Anand's humanist commitment to amplifying marginalized voices in literature. The Village, published in 1939, depicts rural life in the Punjabi village of Nandpur under British colonial rule, capturing the socio-economic realities of early 20th century India amid ongoing imperial administration that had annexed Punjab in 1849 and imposed revenue systems favoring export agriculture. The narrative reflects a period when colonial policies, including high land taxes that rose 112.9% from 1872 to 73 to 1932-33, despite only a 63.7% increase in cultivated area, entrenched peasant exploitation by landlords and moneylenders, disrupting self-sufficient feudal village economies. These conditions underscored tensions between indigenous agricultural knowledge and imposed innovations like railroads, which symbolized colonial control rather than belief, exacerbating poverty and injustice in joint family peasant households. Culturally, the novel portrays Punjab's eclectic rural society, blending Sikh, Hindu, and Muslim communities bound by caste hierarchies, religious faith, and communal ties, yet strained by economic desperation that transcended divisions to foster fraternity among the oppressed. Traditional practices such as generational storytelling and bullock cart farming clash with British cultural incursions like the Boy Scouts aimed at assimilating youth, highlighting broader disruptions to local autonomy and biodiversity in a region where irrigation expansions had cultivated 10 million acres by the 1920s but benefit elites disproportionately. He composed The Village, the inaugural volume of his Lalu trilogy published in 1939, primarily to illuminate the dualities of rural Punjabi existence, the interplay of natural beauty, the communal bonds, and the pervasive hardships such as poverty, caste rigidities, and superstitious orthodoxies, with, while tracing a young peasant's nascent rebellion against these constraints. Drawing from his upbringing in a milieu steeped in India's agrarian traditions, Anand sought to counter romanticized depictions of village life by emphasizing empirical realities of exploitation and stagnation. Motivated by a humanistic imperative to advocate for the downtrodden's upliftment through exposure and critique. His influence encompassed both personal exigencies and intellectual encounters. A formative family tragedy involving his aunt's ostracism and suicide due to caste violations in the early 1920s galvanized his lifelong protest against social hierarchies, extending from earlier work like Untouchable to the trilogy's focus on peasant agency. Anand's decade in England amid interactions with the Bloomsbury group and exposure to leftist circles infused his narrative with Marxist analysis of class oppression tempered by Gandhian ideals of rural self-reliance. Though he critiqued Gandhi's romanticism for underestimating system economic forces. Literally, Anand emulated European modernists and realists, adopting James Joyce's introspective techniques to render protagonists Lalu Singh's inner turmoil and T.H. Lawrence's vitalism to evoke sensory rural textures, while echoing Leo Tolstoy's Maxim Gorky's sympathetic portrayals of the laboring masses to underscore casual links between traditional bound inertia and individual aspirations for modernity. The synthesis propelled Anand's aim not merely to document but to catalyze awareness of rural India's transition amid colonial rule and impending independence struggle. The Village, the first novel in Mulk Raj Anand's Lal Singh trilogy, is set in Punjabi village of Nandpur in the years immediately preceding World War One. The narrative centers on Lalu Singh, the youngest son of a struggling Sikh peasant family headed by the traditionalist Nihal Singh, a former soldier, and his wife Gurgi. Lalu, influenced by his education at a Christian missionary school, embodies youthful rebellion against entrenched village customs, moneylenders, exploitation, and hypocritical religious figures like the priest Mahant Nandakar, whose affairs with Lalu's sister-in-law Kesri exposes local moral contradictions. As Lalu navigates family dynamics, including his brothers Sharm and Dayal's adherence to agrarian routines and arranged marriage, he critiques the stagnation of rural life, advocating for modernization. Tensions escalate through Lalu's innocent friendship with Maya, daughter of a wealthy landlord, which provokes false accusations of theft and police harassment orchestrated by the landlord. Facing arrest, Lalu enlists in the British Indian Army, symbolically serving ties to tradition by cutting his Sikh hair and concealing his caste identity to evade recognition. The plot builds to a familial crisis, including ongoing deaths to the village moneylender and retaliatory violence. Sharm murders the landlord's son in vengeance, leading to his execution and underscoring cycles of rural vengeance. Lalu grapples with his brother's fate and his father's illness during army training, confronting racial hierarchies and the military's role in colonial suppression. The novel culminates at Karachi dock in 1940 as Lalu's regiment departs for the European front. A telegram announces his father's death, prompting introspection on village roots, personal ambition, and the uncertainties of war, thus transitioning Lalu from insular peasant life to global conflict. Characters Lal Singh Lalu, the protagonist, a restless and sensitive youth who breaks societal norms, gets into trouble, and eventually enlists in the British Indian Army as means of escape. He is portrayed as an everyman character who embodies the resilience of a Punjabi peasant. Nihal Singh, Lalu's 70-year-old father, a hard-working peasant who clings to tradition, respects the old ways, and often argues with Lalu over modernization and village customs. Sharm Singh, Lalu's older brother, who, like their father, works the land and is rooted in the traditional village life. The mother, unnamed and provides an emotional, often traditional counterpart to the father's strictness. Village elders community represent the conservative forces, oppression and social customs, and the stagnation of rural life. Revolts against tradition and caste constraints. The protagonist Lal Singh rebels against the rigid, oppressive and social structure, casteism and superstition of his Punjabi village. The conflict between tradition and modernity. The novel contrasts traditional agrarian life with the incoming influence of machine age modernity symbolized by the railway, which causes fear in the older generation, example Lalu's father, but presents opportunities for change to the younger generation. Colonial exploitation and social decay. The narrative illustrates how British colonial rule and rural feudal structures trap the rural population in poverty and ignorance. Search for identity and freedom. Lal Singh's journey is a personal struggle to escape the stagnant, stifling environment of his home, viewing the village as a prison rather than a home. Poverty and human dignity. Similar to other works by Anand, the novel portrays the gritty reality of rural poverty while maintaining a focus on the dignity of the peasant. Motives. The conflict between tradition and modernity. The novel explores Lalu's struggle to break free from the constraints of his family and the archaic norms of his rural community. The weight of superstition and orthodoxy. The villagers are depicted as being trapped in a cycle of ignorance and superstition, with religious leaders often exploiting the peasantry. Colonial exploitation and feudalism. The novel highlights the unfair economic structures, including the role of money lenders and the impact of British administration on the peasantry. The struggle of rural life. It offers a realistic, often harsh depiction of the poverty, debt, and limited opportunities faced by farmers in rural Punjab, individual rebellion, and social change. Through the character of Lalu Singh, Anand presents a fiery rebel who challenges the hypocrisies of society and attempts to forge a new, more modern consciousness. The village, Nandpur. It serves as a symbol of a prison representing outdated traditions, rigid social customs, caste discrimination, and superstition. It is portrayed as a microcosm of rural India, which is stagnant and resistant to change. The railway train tracks. Representing modern technology, the railway is a symbol of escape and connection to the wider world. It offers Lalu a means to break away from traditional village, symbolizing the encroaching modern world and industrialization. The road symbolizes the journey towards a new life and the path to freedom, contrasting with the narrow, predetermined paths of the village, representing the transition from tradition to modernity. Maya. She serves as a symbol of forbidden love and the restrictive nature of caste divisions which prevent personal fulfillment. Lal Singh Lalu. He acts as a symbol of the rebellious youth caught between hope and helplessness, embodying the desire to break from the older order. The dying fire in Gujri's scene, symbolizing the desperate, stifled dreams of the peasant class and the harsh realities of their lives, highlighting their fleeting moments of hope. British official uniforms symbolize foreign dominance, exploitation, and indifference to the local traditional way of life. आज की वीडियो आपको पसंद है कैसी लगी हमें कमेंट करके बताएं अगर कोई डाउट्स या सजेशंस है तो वो भी आप कमेंट सेक्शन में ड्रॉप कर सकते हैं अगर वीडियो अच्छी लगी हो तो लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब टू माय चैनल मिलते हैं कल एक और इन्फॉर्मेटिव वीडियो के साथ शाम 4 बजे टिल देन कीप वॉचिंग एंड कीप सपोर्टिंग द सोलफुल डायरी थैंक यू